Hi everyone, I'm Markomac from AEW Fans, and this is the results and review episode of the Wednesday Night Dynamite show, which went out on the 5th of February 2020, and boy was it an absolute belter. Let's get to it. Alright, well, let's get into the first bout, which was between Jon Moxley and Ortiz. Now, this wasn't a squash match. Ortiz put in a really good showing here. Chris Jericho was on commentary, being gold and being an absolute goat, as he always is, with some of his one-liners and quips that he was making. One of them was around Ortiz not having a match in 538 days or something like that. I think it's been like 4 years, something. It's been a while, so he put in a really good showing for normally as a tag team specialist. And as I said, it wasn't a squash match. Jon Moxley took a lot of, he got a lot of offense in, but so did Ortiz. Eventually the match was won when he hit his, Death Rider, the old Dirty Deeds, the old paradigm shift. He hit him with that. And again, that wasn't the end of the match either. Well, it was the end of the match, but it wasn't the end of the segment. Because once that had happened, Jericho's obviously fuming. He's not happy about this. And Santana, he gets in the ring and he starts to jump Jon Moxley to do a little bit of a beatdown on him, inner circle style. And then what happens? Well, he gets his ass whipped, and not only does he get his ass whipped, he takes an absolute peach of a paradigm shift. You have to go and watch it. It was one of the best ones I've seen yet. I think he went vertical when he took this move, but Moxley wasn't done. Oh, no. He was going for the old an eye for an eye. Well, they do say an eye for an eye makes everyone blind, but he got out the car keys. Remember the old Ford GT? He took the key out, put it between his fingers, and he smashed it right into his face, into his eye. So now Santana is selling the exact same eye injury that Jon Moxley's got. If you look on social media and some of his posts on Instagram, same as Jon Moxley, man. He is committed to this angle and it looks really good. And there was a segment later on where Santana cut a promo, but I'll talk about that later. And I really enjoyed this. I predicted that Jon Moxley would get the win here in the preview show, and that's exactly what he did. He got a good win. Ortiz looked very good. Santana got involved. We've got the eye for the eye, which is next week's match when Jon Moxley takes on Santana. And I'm just really interested to see where this goes. It's building great momentum and it's built the story perfectly as we move into the match at Revolution. And as I said in the preview show, I want to see Jon Moxley work his way through each member of the inner circle. So we can kind of rule out Ortiz, right? He beat him down. And now we've got the match next week with Santana. Whoa, it's going to be a belter. Following that, we had SCU versus Best Friends. I cannot believe how over Orange Cassidy is. I love the guy. I'll admit, when he first came into AEW, I didn't know who he was. I'm like, who is this guy? What is he all about? I don't get this. Is stupid. The stuff that he does is stupid. It makes wrestling look fake. It makes it look daft. But now, I absolutely love him. Everything that he does is pure gold. And he's booked so perfectly. When you look at Orange Cassidy, he's not had many. In fact, he's had one match, I think, and it was with Best Friends. I think it was on Dark. They've had one match, which I believe they won, but they're not overexposing him, so his shtick isn't getting boring. It's not getting old, so it's kind of beautifully done how they're teasing him out and getting him involved in angles and little storylines. I think it's a thing with Chris Statlander as well, sort of a little love interest going on there. So that was quite cool. But this match itself, solid match. It was a good match. There's obviously been better tag matches that both teams have had, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have liked to have seen Best Friends get the win, but because you're building up to the sort of rematch that Kaz and Scorpio Sky are going to have, not Too Cold Scorpio, that Jim Ross called him Too Cold Scorpio. I mean, come on, Jim. He did actually correct himself after he said it, but he's got to get with the game, man. Jim, you have to get with the game. You can't keep making these mistakes, man. Becoming a bit of a parody of yourself now, but anyway, match was good. I didn't mind the ending of it, but it was really the story that was being told during the match. A really good segment where all the guys are lying outside. I think it was just before a commercial break, and I have to say, definitely this was a 10 count. So again, we're going to go back to the officiating in AEW and what we're doing there, and we're like, come on, people are like taking liberties, but I'll let this one slide purely because Orange Cassidy gets down and he's sort of lying down and he's chilling out when the rest of the guys are lying there all beaten. Again, obviously it was longer than a 10 count, but you know, this things like this can slide for the comedy factor in the moment, and the fans loved it. They popped like absolute hell. And then we got to the end of the match and we had a different story. So the first thing you'll notice is where's CD? Where's Christopher Daniels? You're like, oh, he's not come out. He always comes out with SCU. Didn't do it. So I was thinking, right, okay, they're building this Dark Order angle, and then lo and behold, out come the Dark Order. They do a beatdown. They do a bit of a beatdown on both teams, which is fine, you know, that's what the Dark Order does. I do like the Dark Order. I've said before, I'm a big fan of them. I think this could really take off once we find out who the Exalted One is. Please be Matt Hardy. And Orange Cassidy's in the ring. So Evil Uno gets all the guys back. He's like, chill, man. I'll deal with this. I'm Evil Uno. I'll deal with this guy. Takes out the mask, hands it to Orange Cassidy, and it's brilliant. He puts his hands up, and then he puts them in his pocket. Pisses off Evil Uno. He gets a beat down. When he's getting the beat down, old CD runs in. He's going to make the save, and the Dark Order, they all just back off. They all just back off, and they get out of the ring, and they walk away, and you're still left thinking, what's going on here with Christopher Daniels? This could be like is it a swerve? Is Christopher Daniels actually going to be in the Dark Order? Or do they want you to think that he is going to be in it, but he's not going to be in it? Do you know what I mean? Kind of like a double swerve. I don't think it is Christopher Daniels now. I think, I don't know, because we've got the SCU's in a match next week. So they've got their match next week, and I'm going to be interested to see how the Dark Order play into that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, Orange Cassidy totally made this. And, you know, because I'm biased, the Dark Order made this segment in this match as well. Britt Baker versus Yuka Sakazaki. No Jim. Not Sakazawa. Or whatever you said. Sakazaki. It's tough for me to say as well. I can't admit I haven't had any takes here. I did that first take. In my preview episode, I did have to do a couple of takes to say it right. And Jim Ross is live, but hey, I'm not getting paid a big fat fucking paycheck like Jim Ross. He should know this stuff inside out. This match was pretty cool. It didn't go too long, which was good. There's been some criticism that these matches, particularly the female matches, have been going too long and it's overexposing the girls because they're not getting a lot of ring time. They're not on the road. They're not doing house shows, so they're not getting the chemistry. They're not able to build that chemistry like you can in WWE. When you're doing house shows and you've got all these different variety of programs that they're putting out on TV and on the network and things, so they don't have that opportunity to get that chemistry. But I think it was a pretty decent match. Wasn't their best match. Jim Ross immediately when Yuka, she does her magical girl dive off the rope onto Britt Baker, and Excalibur had said that's our magical dive, and then Jim Ross immediately called it something different. It's like, man, Excalibur literally just told you what that was, and then he just sort of changed it. So I don't know, maybe I said before, maybe he's doing it on purpose to wind up the fans. I don't know. But I said in this one, in the preview show, that Britt Baker would lock in the mandible claw, the old lockjaw, and she wouldn't let go, and someone would run in and make the save. No one ran in and made the save. It was a sort of a half guess right that I got half of it right. She didn't get the win either. Yuka rolled her up for the pin, which again I'm like, all these Joshi girls seem to win the exact same way with roll-ups. I get that they're smaller and stuff, but does every win have to be a roll-up? And against Britt Baker, I did say Britt was going to win, and I thought she should have won, but they've done it. They've got the story to go where it needs to be by giving her a loss, because she's got that angry heel, right? Damn, I've just been rolled up by, Yuka. Where has she been? I should be able to beat her. I'm making my way up the ranks to be the number one contender and all the rest of it. So she gets to go outside, be the angry heel. She gets the ring bell. She hits her once. She goes to hit her again, but Aubrey Edwards interferes, takes the bell off of her, which was a good move. So then, what does Britt Baker do? Well, she gets pretty pissed off. She sort of curb stomps her. She puts her face on the bottom rope, so her teeth are kind of on the rope, and then she kicks her, so it's almost like her teeth are being shattered. And they had this cool gimmick where, because she's a great baby face, right? All these Japanese girls make great baby faces, and she's got such the young looking face, and she's sitting there and she's She's spitting out the blood. And a tooth. She had like a tooth. I'm not sure how they did this. It must have been sort of magician's secrets revealed, a sleight of hand or something like that. But she had the tooth in her hand. And the only thing for me that would have made it better is if Britt Baker had like one of her dental cards and she went and put down the dental card. That would have been cool. But then if she did that, it would look a bit contrived. It would look a bit, did she plan on doing that? I think it looks a bit better if it's sort of on the cusp. She was confident. She knew she was going to get that win. When she didn't get the win, the switch has gone off. She's really angry. She's attacked her, smashed her face. Her tooth's coming out. She's all bleeding, and that was it. I really enjoyed the segment. I think it's got Britt over as an even bigger heel. And again, I'm going to be interested to see where this goes and who Britt's going to start feuding with next as she makes her way up. I hope she doesn't take the belt off Rio. I've said before, I want it to be Nyla Rose, but all we can do is sit back and watch and see how this story plays out. One of our last matches, not the last match, but one of the last matches of the evening, was the 8-man tag match. You had the tag team champs, Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega, teaming with the Young Bucks, the Elite, and boy, did Adam Page not want to come out to that Elite music. That Elite theme tune is absolute garbage. I can't stand it. I really don't like it. And the little graphic said Hangman doesn't approve or doesn't like this music or whatever, which I thought was quite cool. But it came out, and the whole match is the usual. Hangman just like, do I really want to be here? He's just not feeling it. And I believe during the entire match, he never tagged the Young Bucks once. I think for the entire match, the Hangman only ever tagged Kenny Omega. And I also got my favourite part of Wednesday Night Dynamite, when the Butcher and the Blade come out, because I told you before, I love them. Every single thing about them. The package, the bunny, the look, the monocle, the mask. I say the same thing, but I do. It's absolutely amazing. And I got to hear the theme tune, thank God. I'm trying to find this theme tune, this music. It's not on the website, the AEW YouTube either. So I'm kind of, where is it? I want to listen to it. I want to be able to download it. Even though it's just like a repetitive riff, which I'm sure comes from his band, from the Butcher's band. But I really want to hear that music all the time. And the match itself was really good. You had old Zero Miedo. The old Lucha Brothers were in there. They did a good showing. And as you would expect, the Lucha Brothers were doing all the fast-paced stuff. Young Bucks were doing all the fast-paced stuff. Kenny Omega is fast as well, but he's not as, all over, zippy all over the place as much as the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks. And again, Butcher and the Blade, when they're in there, they're very heavy-handed. Now, I did say before, my criticism was, these guys aren't winning. These guys aren't looking strong. They're not looking like good heels. Well, they are now. They looked damn good in this match. They look strong. They look dominant. I think the Blade was in there a lot more than the Butcher. He got the beatdown put on him for quite a bit. There was a really good hot tag in this match when Adam Page came in. That was really cool. And the end of the match, the story there was you've got the Young Bucks. They're on the outside. Kenny's been taken out, so the Hangman doesn't have anyone to tag. Hangman's up. He's taking a bit of a beating, the old Hangman. But he sort of leans over, goes to Young Bucks. He sees they're out for the tag, man. Nick is begging for the tag. He's just looking at them like, I'm not tagging the Young Bucks. I can do this myself. And then he runs in, and lo and behold, what happens? He gets done in. He gets taken out. He gets hit with the finisher for the Lucha Brothers, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but he gets hit with that. He gets pinned, and there you go. Now, I said in my preview that they were going to lose, but I wanted the Butcher and the Blade to get the pinfall on them, and that didn't happen here. It was the Lucha Brothers that got the win, which is perfectly fine, because the guys still look good, the guys still look dominant, and then you had the story where the Young Bucks are pissed off. They're really mad at Adam Page, like furious, and he's just like, whatever, man, whatever. I can't be bothered with this. And it was later on, after this, they were backstage, and they come up to Hangman, and they're like, dude, you've clearly got a problem here. You're going to lose these belts because you've got a problem. And they take Hangman's beer away, and his hand goes down, and then as if by magic, he lifts up a fucking pitcher of beer, and he's tanning the pitcher of beer. They did that perfectly. They must have got one of the stage hands to slide in and give the pitcher, so that when he lifted it up, he was guzzling away. That was pure gold. And the fans are eating this up. How can Paige go from they're forcing him, not forcing, but they're trying to get him over so much, and then it doesn't work, and then he just adopts this, done with the elite, I'm just going to be a bit of a drunk. People saying, oh, he's a drunk. He's been a cowboy, you know. Cowboys drink, you know, they have fun, they do their shit, they get in there, they kick some ass, and then they just ride off into the sunset. And that's the character that he's playing. But I loved it. I thought again, really good character development for Adam Page. Really good story development between him and Omega versus the Young Bucks. And we've got the Battle Royal coming up, the Tag Team Battle Royal. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that the Young Bucks are going to win this. You know I'm going to say I want either the Dark Order or the Butcher and the Blade to win, but that's not going to happen. It's going to be the Young Bucks, and that'll set up that feud between those two teams at Revolution. And then what happens with that, I don't know. Again, I don't think Adam Page is turning heel. It might look like a heel turn. They have to play it very carefully on how they do it and how they execute it. But then we get to the end of the match. Oh, Tony Schiavone, my favourite commentator, he's in there. He's doing an interview with Kenny Omega. And lo and behold, that bastard Pac, he's up on the Tron, he's up on the screen, giving it big licks. You know, Kenny, you don't care that much about Nakazawa, do you? Because I whipped his ass twice, so I guess I'm just going to have to take it up a notch. And little Riho standing there, with her wee face and her title belt. Rio, sweetheart, where were you when old Yuka was getting her face literally smashed in? Where were you, sweetheart? I don't know what you were doing. Did you go for a walk? Did you turn up late? Were you hiding somewhere? I don't know. Did you not get the memo? Do you not like her? Do you not look out for your fellow Joshi girls? Anyway, let that go. old Pac says, I might be a bastard, but I'm not a beast, because he wasn't going to put his hands on Riho. So Kenny Omega has agreed to the rubber match that they're going to have, which is going to be a 30-minute Iron Man match. That's going to be brilliant. It's going to be outstanding. That has the potential to be the match, the best match in AEW ever. Not ever, but you know what I mean, in its history. Has the potential to be that. That's going to be ratings. That's going to be big ratings, that. But yeah, he says, I'm not a bastard. He says, I'm a bastard, but I'm not a beast. But she is. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, yes, it's Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose comes in, fucking hits her, picks her up, power bombs him onto the table. The table didn't break. I think the table not breaking made it look even better. It was even better for me because it didn't break. It just looked like she couldn't put her through the table, so her back must have been absolutely killing her. Because a clean table break, to me that doesn't sound that bad. It wouldn't feel that bad because your momentum is sort of carrying through to the floor. The impact has been absorbed. But when you're just bang on that table and she sort of bounced off it. The only criticism that I have is a small one, just a little small one, was Nyla Rose cut this promo to the camera about Riho and she's going to kick her ass, she's taking that title next week. And I'm thinking to myself, sweetheart, she's behind you. Why don't you just turn around and tell her to her face, I'm going to kick your ass next week, I'm going to take your title. So I just felt like that was a bit stupid. Not stupid, it just felt a bit silly. It would have had more impact if she gave her licks while she was lying on the floor. But hey, we've got that to look forward to next week. Riho versus the native beast, Nyla Rose. Please, Nyla, get this damn title off Riho. I'm over this now. But I can see them setting up Britt Baker to take it off her at Revolution somehow. But please, just give it to Nyla. She can't lose to you again. But you know what they're going to do? Chris Statlander's going to come out and she's going to... The dog is barking if you can't hear the dog. Chris Statlander's probably going to come out and cost Nyla Rose the match. And then that continues their feud. Or feud that they had and sets things up there. But hey, let's see what happens. Because I am all in on this one. Following on from that, Darby Allin. He's done another video. Short, sweet, to the point, and perfect. Just like my little boy, Darby Allin. He's not a boy, but you know, he's a boy to me. I'm a 38-year-old man. Black and white, which is awesome, because you know the face paint, it goes really well. And he gets the flamethrower. Pretty sure it's an Elon Musk flamethrower. I'll have to check that. And you've got the old cardboard cutout of Sammy Guevara, and he's hugging Chris Jericho. I really want one of those. I want that cardboard cutout. I think there only is one of them. I guess now there's none of them because Darby Allin took the flamethrower and just like you were killing the Thing from the movie The Thing. If you haven't seen that movie, go and watch it. The original, John Carpenter, not that remake.
Damn it, Charles, torch it!
Flamethrower goes up in flames, and that's it. He does try to speak, and he sort of coughs because he got the skateboard to the throat the week before. That was a nice touch, but Darby doesn't have to say anything. You know, picture says 1,000 words. Well, that was 1,000,000 right there. And then after that, with a match between Kip Sabian. I love Kip, Coach Kip, my bowling coach from the Chris Jericho cruise. That's a story for another time. Coach Kip with Penelope Ford, Joey Janela fighting old Joey. I kind of felt like this was too soon. This should have been a match that they built up. You know, there's a good story here. They could have teased it. I mean, AEW's not going to be perfect. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of juggling going on. A lot of balls are in the air. But they could have teased this out just a little bit more. The match itself was okay. It wasn't like the best showing that the two of them could have had. I would have expected a little bit more. And the problem I had with the match was Penelope Ford, and I love her. She's so good. I love Penelope, and she's a sweetheart as well. She's very, 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 very nice and kind lady. She's got Joey Janela lying down at the steel steps, and she does a great thing. She grabs his head and she whacks it right off the steel steps. And I think it was either one of the commentators, might have been Jim, could have been Excalibur, said, "Well, I guess Joey's the one that dumped her," going by that move. But the problem is, it was in front of the referee. The referee was standing right there. It's almost like AEW has decided we're going to save our first ever disqualification in a match for something good. It's going to mean something, and it's going to be good. Hell, it's probably going to happen at Revolution. I hope not. If you're building up to a pay-per-view and it's every 3 months, and one of those outcomes is a DQ, that ain't going to be good. That ain't going to fly. Folk are not going to like that. But they are saving this first DQ, because right now, I think Jim Ross has even said it. Is it ECW rules? Do we even have DQs in AEW? They talk about it. They take bells and chairs off of people, the referees. So I don't know what's going on. But that should have been a DQ. The win, yeah, Kip rolled him up. The most devastating move in all of professional wrestling. Kip got the roll up on Janela and then slide out the ring. Which is fine, it's fair. You want the heel to get the win. But they got to build this up a little bit more. There's a backstory here, let's play on it. But I was happy with that. And then after that, we had a brilliant promo from Santana. Cut backstage. Chris Jericho's there with the Inner Circle. He's holding his eye. The doctor's there. There's a bit of blood that's on the towel. Jericho starts to talk and Santana's right in there. He's right in at the camera saying this is the worst week, or the worst month, I think he said, of his entire life. There's some personal things going on. And that kind of alludes and builds into the story. And he cuts a seething promo to Jon Moxley, saying an eye for an eye. He's fuming. He's going to get him next week. He's going to kick his ass. It was perfect. The emotion and the passion that came through from Santana, spot on. That boy can talk. That boy can cut a promo. And next week we're going to get the match. And I was looking forward to it already. Seeing the two of them with the eye patches on is going to be pretty sweet. But now the ante has just been taken up a notch. So let's just see who gets the win. It's got to be Jon Moxley, right? It's got to be Jon. But I'm looking forward to it. And let's just see how this plays out into the Inner Circle story. And who's going to be next? Is Jake Hager going to then jump in at the end and Jon Moxley's going to take out his eye? Who knows? And what is an eye for an eye match? I'm sure it's been billed as an eye for an eye match. I guess we'll just have to use our good eyes and watch next week to see how it plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. Although it's not a match, it's a segment. It's Cody getting his lashings, his 10 lashings from MJF. Woof. This is quite a hard one, man. Because everyone's saying this is the best segment in AEW's history so far. I really liked when the Inner Circle were hiding and they were up in the private box and Cody takes MJF's scarf and smashes the door to get in, and then they all start beating up the Inner Circle. I really like that, but this does top it. This takes it. This takes the cake. This takes the biscuit. This takes me home. Takes me everywhere. I don't know where I'm going, but it's taking me there, and it was so fucking good. So, Cody comes down. Now, actually, before we get to this point, they had people cutting little promos in between. So you had Taz talking about how brutal it was going to be. You had Dustin saying, how brutal he thought it was going to be. MGF, he had his own little bit. He was in there saying he was going to, really put the hurting on him. They didn't have to do that, but they staggered these little videos throughout the show, which is a really nice touch. The attention to detail from this company is just another level. Top drawer, top class. Cody comes down, got the suit on, skip ahead. He's taking it all off. His back's there. And we start with a whipping. I'm going to have to check my notes in a minute, so you're going to have to bear with me. The first few lashes, I think it's the first 3 lashes, are quite quick, and he gets them in, and you really feel it. And that brings down the Young Bucks. I'm just going to check. It may have been Dustin, but I think it was the Young Bucks. It's not. It's Arn Anderson. Oh, I'm not redoing this. I'm not doing a take. I'm going to roll with this, right? I fucked up. It's Arn Anderson, because the first 3 whips come in, and Arn Anderson comes down, and he's basically saying to Cody, don't give him the satisfaction. Don't give him the satisfaction. You don't have to do this. And then MJF is like saying, shut up, old man. What are you going to do? How are you going to coach him out of this? Some good one-liners from MJF. And then we get another 2 lashes of the belt. And that brings out Dustin. Yes, it does. There we go. That brings out Dustin. So Dustin's in the ring. And he's more or less saying to MJF, look, I will take these last 5. Give them to me. I want to take them from my brother. MJF's like, no. That's not how this shit flies here. I said he was getting 10 lashings, and he's going to get 10 lashings. So, Dustin, out of the ring. But at 5 now, 2 more lashes, I believe it was. They were quite quick in succession. That was 6 and 7. That brings out the Young Bucks. Yes! Young Bucks come down. They're kind of saying, look, Cody, you've only got 3 left. They're kind of like trying to... Whereas Arn Anderson was a bit like, don't give him the satisfaction, this little asshole. The Bucks are like, you get 3 to go. You can do this. Now, Cody's selling throughout all of this is absolutely outstanding. Outstanding. That boy knows how to tell a story. He knows. Like his dad, like Dusty Rhodes, he's in there getting all the old school tricks, all the old school angles, all the old school stuff that we don't see these days. And with it being PG, TV 14, you can get away with more things on TV, such as this. He sold us like an absolute demon. And then Bucks are there. He gets up. He takes another lashing. So I think we've got 2 to go now. 2 to go. Yep. And then we get to number 8. Sorry, lashing number 8. No, number 9. Lashing number 9. There was a lot of lashes here, man. A lot of lashes. Bear with me. Lashing number 9. MGF is ready. Gets to go. Oh, no. Like I predicted in the preview video, Wardlow's like, oh, no. Let me have one. Give me a shot. Give me a shot with the belt. Wardlow takes the old jacket off. He's got the vest on. He's a big beefy guy, man. I can't wait to see him in action. I really like the look of this land. This cage match is going to be off the chain. He takes the belt. He winds up. The reaction from all of these fans and from me at home. I watch this at 2 in the morning, man. I'm at 2:30, quarter to 3 in the morning. I'm fucking trying to stay awake, but this kept me awake the whole time, right? This wasn't going to fall asleep on this one. The noise off of this. If you had to ask me what was more painful, the 9 lashings combined from MJF or that 1 lashing from Wardlow, I'm going with Wardlow, because that boy, you can actually see, I think it's on his, I'm trying to think in reverse here, it's on his left shoulder. You can see this one big welt, and there's that, and it's actually drew blood. That was from Wardlow.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord Almighty.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord Almighty.
Oh, my God.
Cody collapses. He's done. He's absolutely done. He's like, he's just been That was mental. MGF is loving it. He's loving it. He thinks he ain't getting up from this. Brandy comes down. None of the Nightmare Collective stuff. She's wearing like a white dress or some white outfit or whatever. She comes in, holding his hand. Cody comes up, he kisses her hand. She tells him that she loves him. And she's like, come on, it's only one more lashing. So Cody gets to his feet. He turns around. And that little prick, he whips him. The last lashing whoosh, is on his chest, right across his Dusty tattoo. The little prick meant that. Cody goes down. Now, there looked like some remorse in MGF. Like he was a bit, he looked remorseful that he had to do all that. Because he looks a bit, oh man. But it wasn't that at all. He's just pissed off that Cody got up, that he took all 10. Folk were saying online and things, oh, he looked like he had remorse. MGF doesn't have remorse. Because the moment Cody turned around, he kicked him square in the balls again. And then, this was brilliant. When MGF kicked Cody right in the nuts, him and Wardlow, they were out of there like bats out of hell. All the faces come out. They're all coming out. They all come down to the ring. Everyone's pissed off. I should have said, after the first couple of lashings, the first one or the second one, all the heels came out. Sammy Guevara and the Inner Circle and things like that. I think the Inner Circle and that. They came out. The Butcher and the Blade, I believe. The heels came out to watch him getting his ass beat. But then all the baby faces run in. This is good. How many times do you watch baby faces and they've got in WWE and they get their ass beat? No one comes out to save them. I'm not Riho to Yuka, hello. But apart from that, they all come out and then that was the end of the show. They run up to it. Now there was a fan attacked MGF, right? But it looked like it could have been Kaz. It looked like it could have been maybe Nakazawa. It looked like it was someone who had wrestling gear on, maybe with a hoodie, but they still had their knee pads on. If that's the case, attention to detail, huh? This company's all about attention to detail. But anyway, a side note, at the time when you were watching it live, you're like, man, some fans so pissed off they've pushed MGF. I was hoping that it was, because Wardlow was giving the beatdown, dragging them behind the curtain at the back, but it was kind of like the worked hits. If it was a fan, he would have really been going for it. But that was it. That was the end of Dynamite. Best segment in AEW so far. It's all it's all over the internet. Everyone's talking about it. Folk are talking about how it compares to the Fiend match with Daniel Bryan. This is not the same as Daniel Bryan versus the Bloody Fiend. Okay, it's not the same. Doesn't matter if Daniel Bryan took 40 lashings or whatever. This is not the same. The way this story's being built, the tension between Cody Rhodes and Wardlow, it's like chalk and cheese. This is not the same thing we're looking at here, and it was done and executed perfectly. And I now can't wait to next week. In fact, I can't wait to the cage match. What's going to happen with the cage match? Is Wardlow going to lose his debut match? Did MGF say that he just had to fight Wardlow in the cage? Did he have to beat him? I'd have to check that. If he said he just had to fight him, there's a chance that Wardlow could win. A bit of chicanery. MGF is able to help him escape from the cage, maybe. But if he did say win, Cody will get the win. And he'll still look strong. If it's an escape from the cage, Wardlow's not been pinned. You could maybe Cody handcuffs him. Maybe Arn Anderson handcuffs him. Who knows? But there's ways that you can book this that still makes Wardlow look strong. I would do the handcuffs. Arn gets the handcuffs on or something along those lines. Dusty, someone dusting like that, someone does it. And then as Cody hits the floor, he whips his arm and he breaks off the handcuffs and he's like, oh, Wardlow's standing there covered in blood and he's all angry because it's going to be a bloody affair. And that's 2 weeks' time. And I can't wait for that. So that was it. That was Dynamite. Cracking show. Top notch. Again, absolutely nailed it. Knocked it right out of the park. Last week was a little bit of a filler show. But this one just took it up a notch. Greatest segment in AEW history so far. And where's it going to go from here? I don't know. I don't have a clue. But we're all here for the ride. Thanks for watching. And thanks for listening. I'm Markomac of AEW Fans. And I'll be back at some point before Wednesday with the preview for next week's episode. And I hope to see you there. Adios, amigos.